Hey guys, welcome back to the Lego Titanic Project. So it's video 2 on this documentation of our journey with this. If you're wondering where the kids are, they're all asleep. They don't do much with the planning stage. In these early videos, you'll probably see more of me, but definitely when we get the Legos poured out on the table, that's when we'll be doing a lot more building and stuff, and the kids will be involved and stuff. But right now, we're in the designing phase. As you can see, I've got our first section that we're going to be doing, guys. We're building the Titanic. I am so excited. I keep looking at the blueprints. I want to see this thing come to fruition. I want to see this thing. I want to see the lights on it. I've seen some extraordinary builds of the Titanic. I know that Lego itself has its own. There's a link in the description if you want to check that one out. If you want something yourself to kind of build the Titanic, check it out. But also, I saw that there was a story about I think it was a young guy. He built this one. It's like 30 plus feet long. Awesome build. But the only thing is that I kind of got interested in for us was I want to do the interior of this thing too. And so I want your help with this. And this for us, my son the other day, I was doing some designing on this piece we're doing right now, the first part we're going to be doing. And he's just sitting there, he's like, Dad, when are we going to build this? He's 6 years old. And he's like, when are we going to build this? I'm like, soon, buddy. I just got to get the Lego pieces and we'll get started on this first section. We'll be doing that in today's video. I'm going to kind of be showing you guys kind of the skeleton of our first part. It's not everything because, like I said, today I'm going to be talking to you guys, getting your comments about some of the things that we can be doing better, what we could tweak on this. But today, like I said, we're building the Titanic. If my measurements are right, it's going to be 35 feet long. We're looking at, like I said, I showed you check out the first video. If you guys are kind of up to date, you just saw this for video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out the first video, kind of get an idea of why we're doing this. I don't want to reiterate that. I want to get right into this. But again, I have my little Excel sheet here that's showing me, my measurements. We have the entire blueprint of this ship. It is amazing. This is the side view of this thing. Check this out, guys. It's got everything, every detail you need, right? So we're looking at we got quite a few levels here we're going to be doing, guys. The main thing I want to when I started with the foundation of this video, started with the length, how it was that we're going to divide this into sections. It's going to snap together is the goal right here. And you guys know that. You Lego guys, you know this is possible to do that. I'm going to kind of share with you kind of the idea of what we have in mind of how to make all this stuff connect. And actually, you could actually lift this whole thing together, but then you could actually take it apart and it will come apart. But we have the tank level, which is what we're going to start with. We're going to start with the bottom of the tank level. And then you got the orlop level. And you're probably, what are these, Jory? Well, I'm going to show you here in a second. Let me get back to my page here. I don't know where it went. Yeah, there we go. So this is the top deck of the ship. This will be the final thing we'll do on this entire ship, but we got every room to its measurement. You're like, well, how do you know the measurements? We got these numbers here. They represent something, and I'll show you guys that later. But we got the next deck. This is, I believe, B deck. We've got the lounge, the first class lounge, right? We've got the C deck, and this is where we get actually into the stern and the bow. We got the poop deck, right? We got the front of the ship. We got the first class passengers lodging, right? The grand staircase, and then we go to D deck. Or is that's D deck, and that actually is a full shot because this section actually comes in on that level. We got more housing, we got restaurants, we got the firemen's mess hall, right? It's gonna be so cool, guys. We're doing furniture, we're doing lighting, everything. And so then we go on to the next level. We go on down. We keep going. We got that one. We got the next level. And then you actually start to see, if you look here, that we got this engine here. This actually goes up a couple levels. So when we build that, we have to keep that in mind. It will be sticking out when we're building this thing until we get that level set up. And then we've got the casing around where the smoke goes up to the funnels on the top of the ship, right? Then we've got the next one, the bottom of the main decks, and then we've got the orlop deck. No, that's not the orlop deck. That's the orlop deck. And that will be the one right above the one we're going to start on. And then this is the one we are focused on to begin with, right? So guys, the first thing we've decided to do is, like I said, we're going to go in sections. So the bottom of the ship is going to be divided into quite a few. We're going to start with, we're going to go with the watertight bulkheads right here, right? So we're going to build this section. So, and then go on. So these lines here, they represent these walls. And what those walls were actually, guys, are very interesting. Those walls were part of the design of the ship that was supposed to make it unsinkable, right? If you guys have seen the movie, you remember the part when they hit the iceberg and Murdoch turns this switch and all of a sudden you see all these doors start shutting and you see the boiler room guys like, get out, we got to get out, because they were going to get closed in, because these doors would shut and they would seal off sections of the ship so that water would not continue to flood the ship. And so they could actually, it was designed that if a certain minimum was not, the water didn't go past those, it would actually stay afloat. Well, the problem is it went a little too far. The iceberg got them a little too far, and that sunk the ship. But the design was that these walls would keep the water on one side of the wall and no farther. So we're going to actually go off of those. Now, at the beginning, it works because if you look here, we got the A, we got B, we got C, we go all the way back to P, I believe. Yeah, P. This gets a little tricky. I actually did a module on this a while back. It was a smaller module, so it gets a little tricky here because there's not all the things you need to see on this level. But we'll get there. And I've done a couple checks before I did this. I've kind of taken it from a couple angles, but now I've decided I'm going to start right in the middle at watertight bulkhead H through J. So we're going to start off with building this section here, okay? Now, as we go up, like I said, if we go back to that front one, right? Let's go back up here to the top one. I'm just kind of showing you guys kind of how we're going to go about this. And like I said, guys, leave comments. If you guys think there's a better way to do this, let me know. But like I said, we're going to focus on the tank level. That's what I just showed you. That was that one we were walking through. That's all this down here. Now, in the front of the ship, there's 2 levels out of it, right? We got 2 levels. We got the fireman's passage here and the cargo. Now, in the boiler rooms, though, they actually go up about 3 levels, 4 levels, actually. So we're actually going to combine. When we first start this build, we're going to do 3 levels. So, and like I said, we're starting it between H and J, and we're going to go up to about, let me see here. If you look here, this is the Orlop level. We're going to go to the top of that is where we're going to go, right? So about here is how tall we're going to build this first section, okay? So as we go through, like I said, we're going to build these sections at the bottom, and as we get to for a while, they go straight up. But then eventually, we're going to have to get a little more creative. Like, for example, on this deck, we're not going to build this entire thing in one piece, right? We're going to build sections. We're going to kind of go off these lines, where there's a pretty good line we can go off of. See, like a line here. We may build this in 3 pieces. I don't know. Depends on how sturdy we can make it. If not, we may have to divide it a little bit better. Anyway, we've got, like this one will be a little tricky, how the rooms are built and everything, but we'll figure that out when we get there. We got a ways to go to get those because we're starting at the bottom. So yeah, so that's it. So I want to show you guys where we're at in this design. So we're talking about the boiler room here, guys. And just some fun facts about the boiler room. There were 6 boiler rooms, right? And this ship, the Titanic, was moved by boilers. What is a boiler? It is a charcoal-filled burning that produces steam from water and that empowered a steam-powered reciprocating engine that moved the propellers. If you watch the movie, remember those guys looking over these things and they were going up and down really hard? That was fueled by coal. Coal were thrown in the bottom of these boilers and they boiled the water. The water became steam, built pressure, and moved these giant motors in these engines, right? There were 29 coal-filled boilers in this Titanic. It's very interesting. Fun fact also, each boiler had a separate crew. Every room had its own crew that just every day was shoveling coal into these boilers. And it was not the best job. I even watched the movie. I was like, that would be the worst job. For one, you're at the very bottom of this ship. If anything goes, water's coming in. There is nothing about your area of the ship that is above water. And these guys are down there. The air is probably horrible. Smoke's probably getting in the room out of the boilers. But guys, they say that this room can get up to 120 degrees. That's 49 degrees Celsius. That's hot, right? And I can't imagine being in these rooms. Which is some interesting facts about the boiler rooms. But like I said, they would build up pressure. That pressure would go and force these great pistons to move and rotate the propellers. These guys could burn 600 to 800 tons of coal a day. They said that the Titanic had roughly 6,611 tons of coal stored on board. That's 13,222,000 pounds of coal. That's a lot of coal. Just some interesting facts about this room. I want to kind of, guys, our goal is not just to tell you guys, how we're going to build a Lego set. We want to kind of give the history behind it. Like I said, but when the Titanic was hit by the iceberg, there were a couple of the 5, I believe it was boiler room 5 and boiler room 4, They were the first ones to get hit by water and flood. And not many of these boiler room guys survived this. What's really amazing, though, is their chivalry, because many of them stayed behind while the ship was filling with water, stayed down in the very bottom of this, knowing they were going to die. And they kept the boilers that were above water, kept them going, because they actually kept the lights on, kept the electricity going, charged things, right? So that's huge. It's pretty cool information. Let's see here. There were a couple survivors, though. You actually see in the movie, there are some guys that are rowing the boats that you recognize their faces from the bottom. Of course, that's a movie. But yeah, some did survive. Some actually were able to get out and get to the top and get on some boats, and they survived. Just some interesting facts about the boiler rooms. But we're looking at, this is some renderings I found from, I believe it's an AI game or something, where you can actually go tour the Titanic. But I'm trying to get as much, just different resources to find out, and just different, because like I always said, this isn't a photo. This is someone generated for the game. But just kind of giving me an idea of just the different, how it looks and stuff. And so we can kind of go off this. And right now there's the boilers. If you see, that's where they put the fire in. They put the coal in, they made the fire, then above the water would boil and turn into steam and build pressure. There's a cleaner version of that area. Another shot of that. This is above, where they turn into the funnels, where the funnels go up into the rest of the ship, to go up to eventually to the funnels on the top of the ship that blow out the smoke. We're gonna hopefully build these ladder systems, these railings and stuff. We'll also be a part of these beams, the vents. Sky's the limit, guys. Whatever we can get done, I want to get it done. I want to make this look as awesome as possible. Here's kind of a shot between two different boiler system rooms, because what actually happens is these funnels that come off the two boiler rooms, even though there's a wall between these two boiler rooms, the funnels actually come up and meet over that wall and go up to the 4 stacks on top. And actually, fun fact, only 3 of these stacks actually produced smoke from the boilers. But correct me if I'm wrong, but if you actually look at the blueprints, the 4th one actually just sits above. There's no boilers under that smokestack. Just an interesting fact. So yeah, just some different shots here. We're going to go off. I'm going to keep collecting resources, but here's what we got so far, guys. Hey guys, there's 2 ways you can get involved in this project. First is click that subscribe button so you can watch the videos as we go along. And number 2, if you want to give and help support the Legos that we need to get this project done, click the link in the description for the Patreon account and get involved. Thanks again. We're going off our measurement, off our counter, right? So we've got I've kind of updated this a little bit, how we can use a ruler, how we can use the blocks as rulers. Whatever the measurement is, we go off the footage. We type the footage in of whatever we're trying to measure, and then it will tell us tall-wise how many blocks we need. This is about, so 4.67 feet is going to equal about 6 blocks tall, right? And then on its side, width-wise, though, if we were doing it, going across to like a plate or something, it'd be about 7 blocks, a little over 7 blocks. So we kind of got to just kind of wiggle that, because we don't have any exact room for that if we're going sideways, right? So there's that. If you guys have, like I said, if you guys have better ideas for this, give us some comments. So here's our boiler room. We're talking about boiler room, I believe it is boiler room 2. Yeah. So we're looking at boiler room 2 here. This is what we've just built. We've taken this off the blueprint for the tank level. I've also got the orlop level and the low level, because this wall, so these walls here on the watertight doors actually go all the way up to here. So we decided on this that we're going to build this section all the way up past the orlop level. And so our measurement goes off of this little ruler here, if you guys can see. And actually the key for this is actually the distance between like that 12 and that dash is 3 feet. So what I'm able to do on this software that we use, Live Home 3D, I have this little ruler here, and it'll actually give me 3 feet on this. Check this out. 3 feet. There's a zoom in here for you. You can see it, say 3 feet. So I'm able to take all these blueprints, and I kind of made them all fit there. That's also 3 feet, so we're able to go off that. So all these equal 3 feet, so it helps us whenever we're measuring other areas. Let's say, oh, I want to know how big this wall is from the watertight. It says it's 9 feet. Okay, so I can go into my counter, type 9 in. Well, it tells me it's 13, almost 14, probably about 14 blocks in. So from the end of my project. So I go in my project, and that was what I just measured there, was this distance here to this wall and stuff, and it should equal about 14 blocks. Awesome. So this is what we're working on today. We're working on the boiler room. And so what's really cool about this software is we built this. This is just the skeleton. Now that we built the skeleton, we're going to start giving it some character. But we have our list to be able to start building this. We don't want to get too excited about it, because some of these spots on the walls are going to be taken out because there's going to be things put into the walls, you know, a fire extinguisher, whatever it is, just to give it some character. You know, pipes are going to be coming out of the wall. These holes up here, you see these holes, I'm not really sure exactly how we're going to do it, because the reality was it was watertight. So if water had filled this room, it would have flowed into there. And it's like, well, Jory, why did you put those there? Well, if you look at the Orlop level, which is where that's at, there's stream pipe passes. Because obviously these boiler rooms, they're pipes that built the pressure. They went out these and went to the back of the ship towards the engine at some point. And so this is the area. So when we build the pipes, we'll build around there to make it look more watertight when we get there. But right now, that's what we've got. If you see this little Willy Wonka thing, if you've watched the first video, you know what that's for. But the Willy Wonka thing is kind of our key we're going to be using as we're building this within the Bricklink studio. But it just kind of helps me get a key of, as I'm going along the ship, how big my levels are, what kind of room I've got level. Actually, all these levels were not the same length, and so some of them were 8 feet. As they went farther up the ship, they were higher. They went from 8 feet, 7. Actually, one of the rooms is only about 7 feet, but it gets all the way up to 10 feet towards the top. But I've got E-deck so far. I'll eventually add the others later as we're building. I don't really need to worry about them for a while because we're going to be doing the tank level. Then we'll go to the Orlop level, and then we'll go to the G level, F level, E level, right? E-deck, sorry, that was really un-Titanic of me, but G-deck, F-deck, E-deck, for example. Yeah, so we built this. We've got the ash injector. I've kind of started this. This is called the ash injector. This is where they get rid of the ash from the coal. They have to clean it. Obviously, you know, if you're at a wood stove or anything like that, you just can't keep throwing stuff in there. You've got to clean it out. So they had to have a way to clean it out. So we're going to have that. They had some built in this. I kind of, so if you look at, let's go here. So if you look over this thing, underneath the ship, there was this beams that went across, and I tried to imitate those, measure those wise for our ratio, and I've actually built that down below. Oh, and while we're at it, let's talk about how are we going to connect all these sections. And guys, I would love to get your comments on this. This is what I have in mind. It may need a few more, but we're going to snap them together, these sections. So we got the snaps there, we got a few there, and then on the sides, and like I said, if we go to the back of this, we're trying to keep it flowing the right direction. So the next one on the back of this, if you look, let's see here, there you go, right there. Zoom in here, see that one? This side's the holes, where the other side was the pins. We're doing the holes on this side. So that's when we're going from back to front is how we're going to connect to how it'll snap together on this level. Because I know on the next level, things are going to, so then if you notice at the top of this thing I've built, we have tiles across the entirety of the top of this thing. Why did I decide to do that? The reason is because eventually we're going to take the G-deck, whatever we build on, whatever goes on top of this, it's able to lay right in there like a puzzle. So like these little corners here, there will be a little spot where something will attach there, and it will lay right inside that, okay? And so there'll be like a little rail on this side and this side under. It'll be at the same level as these, so whenever the next deck lays on top of that, it'll pop right into that. So yeah, so that's what we've got. So let's just take a look at this, guys. So we got what these sections are here. This area here and this area here are, well, let me just show you. They are the coal bunkers. Yes, this is where they kept the coal, right? And you remember the ship, they were shoveling coal. That's where they stored it. All 6,611 tons of it. Wow. So, and then we also have the ash ballast pump. I have not found a good example of that yet in my Google search. If you guys know someone, hey, if there's titanium people watch this, if you have pictures of an ash ballast pump, send it my way so we can get a good Lego render of it, you know, get a good build of it that'll fit in there and look right. And then we're also looking at the boilers. Let's take a look at the boilers right now, guys. The boilers are going to go right in here. There's going to be 5 of them. They're going to fit right in here. And I was pretty lucky with what I found at Lego's provision, what we have available. One thing I'm trying to get better at, and what as we talked about in the first video, is I want this thing. So the Titanics I've seen, besides the Lego one, it looks pretty sweet, but it's very small. When you do the slants of a ship, especially this big, they're kind of blocky in a lot of the models I've seen. They're very blocky. My goal is to use curvature with Legos, with hinges and everything. I want to make the outside of the ship as curvy as possible and make it work. And so if you guys have any ideas, let me give you kind of an example of what I'm talking about. At the bottom of this ship, if you look at the very bottom of the ship, check out here. It curves right here. Now, with the measurement I need, there are some sloping and curving bricks that you can use, but they didn't work for this size of model. So I've looked at different YouTube people who have done examples of how they make curved walls and stuff. And there's a guy, I'll find him and put a link in the description that you can check out. And yeah, I was like, okay, how do I can make this? So this is what I came up with. Like I said, guys, comment, share, show me some videos, send me links if you have a better idea. But like I said, not everything's perfect on this because the hinge tool on this isn't super great. But this is what I've got so far. I've used these type of Legos to make this curve. Now, the thing is, if they're not in place, they're going to move. And that's not what we want. So what I've planned to do is you see these? I'm planning to put rods through there. I believe they're called Mars, actually. Let me see here. Anyway, I'm not sure what they're called, but yeah, this like Mar or something like that. Yeah, this thing right here. Yeah, this like whatever this is, right? So this, let me just find compatible bricks here. My goal is to, on these parts of the ship where they slant, I'm hoping to use a little bit of something along these lines. But I want to, let me find the Lego I'm looking for here. Sorry, guys. Got a lot of stuff open, but I want you guys to be a part of this and show me your thoughts and everything. Well, there's a better way to do that, Jory. Again, comment. Love it. I know, yeah, this piece here, this bar holder. And we can stick that right on top of there like that. My goal is something along this line. Let me see here. Okay, so to put something like this, my goal is to use something like this where the rod's there and this is attached, and then it will kind of lean in towards another part of the ship to kind of, it doesn't be very long, and I'll probably cut these rods to measure them out how much length I need, just to kind of tighten up that. I hope you guys can see what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I apologize. It's kind of hard to see. It's hard to render it within Studio Link. They have a great hinge system, but sometimes it's not, they don't have the exact one I need. I want to know your thoughts on this, because some of these Lego ideas I have require a piece that Lego didn't make in that color. Are any of you guys, have you guys colored Legos to match the color that you need? I would like to know. Leave a comment below. I'd like to know what you guys do in that situation whenever it's like, well, I need this piece, but Lego didn't make it in this color. I found that every so often. Bricklink does a really cool job of, because they know their inventory over here on the side. If you like put a thing some specific type of color piece in, it'll tell you there'll be a little yellow exclamation mark over here on the side, which tells you they don't have it and stuff in that color. So just curious what you guys think. Is it okay to paint Legos just to have enough to do what you need to do? Or do you guys do other things? Love to know what you do. Like I said, I'm hoping to, probably with some of these bars, I'll probably cut them to size so it won't be exactly where I need them. Things like that. Do any of you guys modify Legos? Like, for example, let's take a look at my idea, my render of my boiler. This is almost to the ratio I want. I found these pieces here. This is actually what I'm talking about, this round corner brick. Bricklink doesn't have any in black, but the boiler in the Titanic was black. So my thoughts are, you got to use a lot. So if you guys have any other idea, I wanted to make with hinges and bending, I wanted to make a circle that was perfectly this size, and maybe we still can. If you guys have any ideas, you want to help me with this, give me some ideas. I'd love it. It's about, let's see here, we're looking at 12, so the circle is about 24 across, and 20, so the diameter is about 24 spots across. Sorry if Lego lingo is not correct for some of you guys, but it's about 24 across. If you have any other ideas of how to make this circle happen and still get this cover over, that'd be great. And I've got the 3 doors open, kind of had that idea, but the hinge works. They open, the caps open. There's wheels here. If you look at the boilers, I think I did a pretty good job of getting this looking pretty close. There is, if you look at pictures on the internet, there is some stuff up here, but I realized that that's actually parts of the funnels that go up to the smokestack. So I'm going to add those later. So there's that part. So we got that. They will go right there in the middle. That's what these 5 things are right here. Now, the other thing we're going to build, and I'm kind of just doing a prototype, is the watertight door. Yeah, it was in the movies. Those are the things that shut really quick, and some of the guys got stuck behind them. We're going to do the same thing, and yeah. So let's go to that watertight door real quick. So this is what I've got, guys, on the watertight door. If you look, let's take a look at some pictures here. I've got some shots here of a watertight door. This is kind of the one I went off of. So I don't know if it's going to be black, but I don't know if you guys can see it. Let's see if we can get a better picture of that. I can get any bigger. Let's see if we can get a better one. Here we go. Yeah, see if you guys can see that. How it's got the engine over here, and it's got a gear system that rotates and would open and shut that door. This is what I've come up with. Would love to know your guys' thoughts. It's the goal is, yes, we want these. There's going to be a switch that you can actually hit is the goal, and it will actually shut all these watertight doors on the entire ship and all the sections. As the sections come together, well, we will use those electrical wires that snap together, and this thing will be easy to snap the electricity together is the goal, and everything. All the motors will be able to work outside this thing. So just look at some different motor ideas, but that's what I've got so far, and that will be what goes on this thing. Let me know your thoughts. Again, if there's something you see something say, well, why don't you add this, leave a comment. But yeah, so we're going to color that thing up. And then when we're done, like I said, before I go buy these pieces, guys, because like I said, we got to put some character into this section. I'd like to know your thoughts. If there's some things we need to tweak, we need to adapt, let us know. And let's keep doing this, guys. But that's what we've got so far. We're pretty excited. We're getting ready. We're going to get ready to build this one. Like I said, before we go buy the pieces and get into it, let us know. We do have a Patreon account. If you guys would like to click the link below, help us out, help us get some Legos, help us expand this thing, get this thing done quicker, so you guys can see it and enjoy it just as much as we do. But like, we love you guys being on part of the journey with us. Let's see this thing swim and not sink, right? Like I said, click the link below. We'd love your support. We'd love your comments. Let us know what you think. Again, I appreciate all you guys do. Check out the next video and we'll keep moving on.